North Korea fired another ballistic missile one day ahead of the anniversary of the Korean War armistice. Avian flu was detected on a duck farm in Hamgyong in southwest Korea, derailing authorities' plan to eradicate the virus in the region by this month. And a Korean student in Great Britain transformed consumer electronics with a slim folding adapter to replace clunky three-pronged plugs. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Monday, July 28th. I'm Luke Clary. North Korea fired another ballistic missile one day ahead of the historically significant anniversary of the armistice, which ended the fighting in the Korean War. Again, leader Kim Jong-un was present at the launch.
North Korea again fired a ballistic missile on the night of July 26th, the eve of the day when truce was declared for the Korean War. The missile was launched from Jangsan Cape in Hwanghae Province, just north of South Korea's Baengnyeong Island. It is believed to be a Scud-type missile with a range of 500 kilometers. The launch site was just 11 kilometers from the northern limit line in the Yellow Sea. Saturday's rocket drill was the third time this month that the missiles were fired from near the armistice line. The North Korean media reported that Kim Jong-un had personally guided the drill and the launch had targeted American armed forces in South Korea.
남조선 주둔 미제 침략군 기지들의 현 배치 상태와 그를 타격 소멸할 수 있게 로켓 발사 훈련을 지도하셨습니다.
Since the regime claims itself the victor of the Korean War, Saturday's missile drill appears to be a campaign to incite anti-American sentiments and a warning against the possible deployment of the U.S. military's high-altitude missile defense shield over the Korean peninsula. The South Korean military authority believes that North Korea is using its typical two-pronged tactics of reconciliation and provocation. Pyongyang has been sounding out its plans to attend the upcoming Asian Games in Incheon while firing missiles.
북한 스스로 민족의 화해가 도모되기를 기대한다고 하면서도 진정성을 의심하지 않을 수 없습니다.
Immediately after the drill, Kim Jong-un visited the Kumsusan Palace of the Sun, where the bodies of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il are kept, and the regime held a national meeting and celebratory events.
Bereaved families of the Sewol victims wrapped up a 500-kilometer walking journey from Ansang Gyeonggi Province to Jindo, South Jeolla Province on Sunday. Search operations for missing passengers of the ill-fated ferry have resumed with the retreat of a typhoon.
Flying yellow flags, members of the Seoul Ferry demonstration marchers form a long line as they arrive on foot at the Jindo Gymnasium. 3 bereaved family members of the Seoul Ferry victims walked 500 kilometers in 20 days. Despite their apparent exhaustion upon arrival, they console the families of those who remain missing. They made the long journey despite scorching heat and stormy weather to call for a thorough investigation into the sinking of the ferry and the passage of a special law regarding the accident.
배 안에 아이들이 있고 다른 거를 위해서 하는 게 아니라 앞으로 이런 일이 다시 일어나지 않기 위한 그 법 제정을 위한 거지.
Approximately 1,000 citizens joined the bereaved families along the journey.
이 자리에 함께하지 않아도 이런 마음을 갖고 있는 너무 많은 시민들이 계시라는 것을 알고 저 자신을 위해서 왔어요. 우리의 다음 세대를 위해서도 왔고.
The families moved to Pengmok Port in Jindo Island early Monday morning. After praying for the timely return of the missing passengers, they plan to meet with Pope Francis on August 15th during his visit to South Korea. Search efforts for the missing passengers have resumed with the departure of a typhoon which had brought operations to a halt on July 24th.
The highly pathogenic avian influenza virus was detected on a duck farm in Hamgyong in southwest Korea. Another outbreak of bird flu after a month of relative quiet has hindered the health authorities' plan to put an end to avian flu in the South Jeolla region by the end of this month.
Traffic has been blocked on this road to a duck farm. Duck fecal matters collected from this farm tested positive for avian influenza, and more detailed exam confirmed the flu virus to be highly pathogenic. The bird flu prevention team for South Jeolla Province destroyed and buried some 44,000 birds. That includes 42,000 ducks from the infected farm and another 20,000 chickens from a nearby chicken farm situated inside 500-meter radius. Health authorities also imposed a 30-day traffic restriction on 15 poultry farms within 10-kilometer radius.
개별 단위의 어떤 차단 방역, 특히 소독 등에 대해서는 철저를 기해 주시고 농장에 출입하는 차량이나 사람들에 대해서는 철저히 통제하고 소독해 줄 것을.
No bird flu case was reported for more than a month since the disease broke out in Muan in June 17th, raising hope for the epidemic to end by the end of this month. But such hope was dashed by the recent outbreak. The South Jeolla region has been plagued with avian influenza for more than 6 months ever since highly pathogenic AI virus was detected in Haenam in late January. During that time, roughly 2.36 million birds were culled from 91 farms in 7 cities and counties. Poultry farmers are growing more upset as traffic restrictions have expanded to cover larger areas.
이동제한 걸린 부분에 대해서는 아무것도 정부에서 해주지를 않잖아요. 이동제한만 걸어놓고 근데 농가들은 이제 아우성이죠.
Avian influenza usually occurred in wintertime. But now that the disease is found even in summer, it is concerning many that the possibility of AI already developed into a non-seasonal disease.
Mobile data centers and communication base stations guzzle electricity. Of the power they consume, a considerable portion goes toward cooling down heated servers or equipment. Now, mobile carriers are making various efforts to conserve electricity.
Data centers store an enormous amount of information transferred via the internet or smartphones. 20 to 30% of the electricity consumed at a data center goes to cooling down overheated servers to prevent breakdowns. To help reduce its power consumption, this telecommunication company recently began using groundwater from 30 meters below the surface. The temperature of the groundwater hovers around 15 degrees Celsius throughout the year. By using this cold water to cool the air in the building, the company saves as much as 80% of the electricity previously used for this purpose.
이런 자연 에너지를 저희는 최대한 응용을 해가지고 통신실이나 IDC 같은 전력 소비 시설에 저희가 활용을 함으로써 전력 절감 효과를 보고 있습니다.
One large online portal company built a data center in Chuncheon, Gangwon Province, where the temperature is lower than that in Seoul and the metropolitan area. It made the decision after analyzing statistics from the Korea Meteorological Administration. The company utilizes cool outside air to save energy. Annual power consumption at 113 data centers across the nation amounts to a third of that produced by a nuclear energy reactor. IT companies can save a considerable amount of energy simply by reducing the electricity needed for cooldown. Major IT companies like Facebook operate data centers near the Arctic to make use of the cold air.
이런 부분에 대해서 뒤처지지 않기 위해서는 관련 기업들의 R&D 투자, 서버 저전력화 내지는 냉방 효율화 부분에 대한 투자가 필요하고요.
With the total volume of the global data center market topping $119 billion last year, it appears IT companies will have to devise further ways to save energy.
Cancer survival rates have increased dramatically over the years, which definitely is comforting news for those fighting cancer. But with better survival rates came higher chances of new tumors appearing in other organs, prompting doctors and patients to take more precautionary measures.
This woman in her 40s had breast cancer surgery and went into remission for 8 years before being declared cancer-free. She recently had herself tested for hypothyroidism but was stunned to find she had thyroid cancer.
유방암 처음에 걸렸을 때는 너무 기가 막혀서 많이 울기도 했는데 갑상선암 진단까지 받으니까 그냥 멍해지더라고요.
With the cancer survival rate reaching 64%, many patients recover completely from their bouts with primary cancer. However, a higher survival rate also means that now there are a bigger number of secondary cancer patients with new cancer cells found in other organs. Secondary cancer in thyroid developed in 7% of breast cancer patients, stomach cancer in 6% of colorectal cancer patients, and kidney cancer in 2.7% of those who survived prostate cancer. Some 130,000 cancer patients were tracked for this study conducted by Yonsei Cancer Center. The study showed that one-time cancer patients are at higher risk for having new tumors occur in other places, so they need to go through tests that are much more thorough.
암에 대한 면역력을 유지하는 게 가장 중요하다고 생각하고요. 필요에 따라서는 건강검진 프로그램을 통해서 2차 암의 조기 검진이 될 수 있도록 정기적인 검사를 받으시는 게 중요하다고 생각합니다.
Doctors also advise exercising in regular basis to boost the immune system and having plenty of vegetables and fruits rich in anti-cancer substances. Currently, roughly 200,000 Koreans are diagnosed with cancer each year.
Small ideas can make a big difference sometimes. A Korean student brought change to consumer electronics devices in Great Britain by transforming a clunky 3-pin plug into a slim folding adapter. Here's the story.
Residents of the UK use this unique plug that has remained unchanged for decades. On top of its large size, the plug has 3 sharp pins measuring 2 or 3 centimeters long. The pins frequently cause scratches or damage to laptop computers or other personal IT gadgets.
Yeah, it could quite easily scratch or damage my computer, crack the screen or scratch here. 4 years ago.
A new redesigned plug aims to address the inconveniences of the traditional one. The invention is a folding plug, which reduces the size of the traditional plug by 70% when shut. Its designer is not a British native, but rather a creative and enterprising design student from Korea.
랩톱에 이제 스크래치가 나게 되고 이제 뭐 그런 작은 사소한 이제 불편함들 때문에 시작하게 된 것 같습니다.
Che and his business partner, a friend from graduate school, introduced their invention to the market last year. Already 40,000 of the folding plugs have been sold. The future is bright, especially given their projected earnings from patent right fees.
But with a fresh set of eyes, which obviously Min-kyu came with from a different country, you see something that's wrong and you just change it.
좀 성공적인 사례를 남겨서 이제 그런 분들한테 희망을 줄 수 있으면 좋겠다라는 생각을 하고 있습니다.
Major British media outlets are praising the plug for its innovative design. Now all eyes are on the Korean student and his potential for further success in the future.
Many people try to beat the heat playing in the water during the summer, but poisonous jellyfish may be something to consider when hitting the beach. In severe cases, jellyfish stings can result in the loss of consciousness. First aid is crucial.
This girl had to receive emergency treatment after being stung by a jellyfish while playing in the sea of Jeju Island 2 summers ago. At approximately the same time, an 8-year-old child was attacked by jellyfish at a beach in Incheon and passed away. Jellyfish attacks have become rampant in recent years due to the rising temperatures in water surrounding the Korean peninsula.
기후변화의 결과로 해서 우리나라 연안이 아열대화하고 있습니다. 기존에 보이던 해파리 외에도 그 아열대성 해파리들이 많이 북상하고 있습니다.
In the last year alone, over 1,100 people sought medical treatment for jellyfish stings which contain venom. That's 2.5 times the number recorded 5 years earlier. 7 out of 10 patients fell victim to jellyfish in August during the peak summer vacation season. Mild jellyfish stings, which only cause skin redness and stinging pain, can be treated easily by washing the affected body part with seawater. However, in severe cases when patients have difficulty breathing and other symptoms throughout the body, it is highly recommended to stay under doctor's observation for the minimum duration of 8 hours.
두근거림이라든지 호흡곤란, 어지럼증, 실신 이런 것들이 발생할 수 있습니다. 전신 증상이 나타나는 경우에는 빨리 응급실을 방문을 해서
Washing the affected area with fresh water can only promote the spread of venom. Therefore, it is important to rinse the skin with vinegar or seawater before reaching the emergency room.
Many schools and universities are busy during this summer break producing graduation albums for their students. One high school in Korea became an internet sensation for its quirky photos.
Until recently, most graduation albums featured photos of students wearing the same uniform with a rather stiff look on their faces. But this album, produced by a high school in Hwanghae Province, defies the stereotype about graduation photos. This student is shown holding a banana with his shoulders raised slightly. He's mimicking the popular child star Choo Sarang, who is all the rage these days in Korea. One student wears makeup from the horror movie Saw, and another took a cue from the Russian figure skating champion Adelina Sotnikova, who beat Kim Jong-un at the Sochi Winter Olympics. The school started this tradition 4 years ago to let its students express themselves to the fullest.
침체돼 있었는데 오랜만에 친구들 웃는 모습도 보고 진짜 소심했던 친구들도 이날만큼은 다 뛰쳐나와서.
Sometimes students face opposition from the school for their inappropriate poses, but most of the time they're allowed to pose as they want.
왜곡된 이런 부분들은 이제 아무리 애들의 개성의 자유가 있다 하더라도 교육적으로 접근할 부분들이 있지 않겠어요?
Graduation pictures have become a way for young people to express their personalities and make special memories about their school days.
How do you feel today? Not fully rested? You're not alone. Most Koreans complain that they feel sleepy and drained all the time. Today, we'll take a look at chronic fatigue syndrome that's affecting a lot of people. We often see at least a couple of people around us who look tired all the time. If you suffer from chronic fatigue syndrome, you may not feel refreshed even after sleeping and tend to show impaired concentration. People tend to think that a good night's sleep or a long rest will ease fatigue, but persistent tiredness is an illness. Good rest only works for a temporary or acute state of exhaustion, which lasts no longer than a month. But if tiredness persists for a long time despite plenty of rest, it could be chronic fatigue syndrome. What exactly is chronic fatigue syndrome?
만성 피로라고 하는 것을 포괄하는 개념이 만성 피로 증후군입니다. 즉 피로감을 중심에 가지고 있으면서 근육과 골격의 통증이라든지 머리가 맑지 않다든지 이런 포괄된 증상들을 만성 피로와 함께 가지고 있을 경우에 만성 피로 증후군이라고 진단할 수가 있겠습니다.
This housewife, overwhelmed with childcare and household chores, came to test for this condition. She took a blood test, an X-ray, and underwent various examinations. Even her hair was tested for minerals, because her nutrition status can be determined from her hair. She also discussed her sleeping habits. Many people try to relieve fatigue by sleeping it off, but is sleeping really the answer to constant fatigue?
피로 회복에 물론 잠이 아주 중요합니다. 그렇지만 단순하게 양이 많다고 해서 중요한 것이 아니고 잠의 질이 어떠냐가 훨씬 더 중요한 요인이라고 볼 수가 있겠습니다.
A long nap during the day could hurt the quality of sleep and prevent you from getting a good night's sleep. Your posture could also be distorted to worsen your tired condition. There are many things you can do in your daily routine to ease fatigue. First, keep yourself well hydrated by drinking 8 glasses of water a day. Many people take health supplements or energy drinks when they feel famished, but it's better to get nutrients through food. Supplement your vitamin intake with plenty of fruits and vegetables and get protein from meat and fish. Having too little muscle mass can tire you out faster, so taking in enough protein to build up muscle is important. Now it's time to get your fitness level up to fight fatigue. It is more effective to do both non-aerobic and aerobic exercises. Working out excessively could cause even more fatigue, so start with a 5-minute session and then gradually increase the time to 30 minutes over 5 days. Also, stretching is proven to be effective. Chronic fatigue syndrome often brings pain for certain parts of the body. This movement is good for relaxing the neck and shoulders. Stay 10 seconds with your head down and another 10 seconds with the head bent backward. This move is effective for relaxing the tensed up spine and shoulder muscles. If you suffer from severe upper and lower back pains, stretch out your arms and round your back for 10 seconds to ease the pain in the shoulder blades. Now straighten up the spine and stretch out your arms behind you. Repeat these movements with short breaks in between to loosen up the muscles and reduce fatigue. Chronic fatigue keeps you from carrying out daily activities and enjoying life. It could also cause other ailments, so take plenty of rest, eat well, and exercise regularly to feel more energized. Now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. That's it for this edition of News Today. We'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Have a great day.